Hi, I was cut off before I could tell you what I was going to do, what my next Dreamcast would be. So I'm going to tell you now, it's Company, another Stephen Sondheim musical, another favorite. So Company is basically about unmarried guy named Bobby. He's 35. He has all these friends that are married. Some are happy, some are unhappy. Um, but they're always urging him to get married. And then there are also three girlfriends, three very different girlfriends, and it's just about him trying to decide whether to settle down or not. Um, and I would like to see this done as, like I said in Into the Woods, first and foremost a recording, maybe a concert later on, like a one night only benefit concert, maybe. So for the role of Bobby, I would like to see James Marsden play that role. Now, James Marsden we know from the movies, but he has a great singing voice. Now, he can be funny, but it's really he's acting like the straight man to some of these couples. Some of these couples are really funny. But but he's more of a dramatic role than a comedic role, and I think James Marsden would be perfect. Now for the couples, I'll do more of the major couples first. There's an older couple, this woman, she's an older woman named Joanne, and she's married, this is like her fourth husband named Larry, and Joanne is very, like, socialite, a cocktail hour every day kind of woman. She is very risque, some of her lines. She was played originally by Elaine Stritz, that should tell you enough. But I'd like to see that role done by someone else who has never done Broadway, but can sing, and is very funny. Katie Seagal of Married with Children and Eight Simple Rules. I think she'd be perfect for that role. And then there is I can't think of someone for her husband, Larry. Some of these roles I haven't figured out yet, because they're not the biggest roles. Then there is, Amy, she's not married yet, but she's getting married to a man named Paul. A Jewish man named Paul. She has this big monologue about how she was so happy that he's Jewish, even though she's not. So it's a very funny role. She has one of my favorite song in the show, Not Getting Married Today, which is like a patter song. And I'd like to see that role played by Megan Mullally. Megan Mullally could knock that role out of the water. She, like I say, as always, funny and can sing. I always say that. I need to come up with more things to say. But she could just bring the zaniness. She's a very paranoid character. She could bring the zaniness, Megan Mullally could. And for Paul, once again, a man I talked about in my Drowsy Chaperone video, Roger Bart. He could be very straight man to Megan Mullally, because I know they both worked together in Young Frankenstein the musical. They both played fiancés to each other. So I think that would be good for them. Then there is, Harry and Sarah. Now, they're both trying to give up stuff. Sarah is trying to diet, and Harry's trying to, stop drinking. I'd like to see them played by not a young couple, but also not a couple like as old and experienced as Larry and Joanne. But I'd like to see them played by, once again, I mentioned her 2 times before, Faith Prince as Sarah, and for Harry, Michael McKean. I love Michael McKean. It's more of a dramatic role. He doesn't do many dramatic roles, but I think he could do it. He's done Broadway before, and he can sing. Then there is, any other, well, there are couples, but there's some couples I haven't come up with are David and Jenny, they smoke pot with Bobby, so they're very hip. David is, but Jenny's not hip. But I did figure out who is playing Jenny, not David, though. Jenny would probably be Anna Gasteyer. I love Anna Gasteyer. She could, not major singing. She can sing, but it's not major singing. It's more comedic, and who better to get to do a role like that than a former SNL cast member? But yeah, she'd be perfect for that role. And then like I said, I don't have a David, but Then there's another couple who I haven't figured out yet. Peter and Susan. Peter is just this very, like, I would maybe mousy. I don't really know how to describe Peter without giving away a major secret in the show. But Susan is a Southern belle, the Southern belle, and she faints often. And like I said, I can't figure out casting for them. But now there are the three girlfriends of Robert. There is April, the airline hostess, this very ditzy airline hostess, who I'd like to see played by Kristen Chenoweth. Very perfect for Kristen. Very, like, blonde, ditzy. I think she'd be good. Maybe age could be a problem. Maybe she's a little too old, but I don't care. And age is actually the problem for my next casting. There's this character, Marta. Marta is she loves New York, because that's the setting of the show, New York. She loves New York, but, and she's very, like, I could see her, like, in the revival. I don't know the name of the woman who played her, but when she sang Marta's Big Number, she was very, like, fiery, and it's just, the only person I could see sing that song is, Vanessa Williams. And that's before I saw people sing it, like, the original woman who did it, Pamela Myers, and then I saw Sadie Duncan sing it, and they're totally the opposite of Vanessa Williams. But, and, of course, Vanessa Williams is a little too old to be in a love connection with James Marsden, but I really don't care. And then there's Kathy. She has the littlest to do. But she is the opposite of Marta. She hates New York. She actually just wants to live in the country. That I'd like to see played by Sutton Foster. Love Sutton Foster. It'd be just a nice role for her. There's an optional, like, big dance number. I know Sutton Foster can dance, but not, like, is known for her dancing. But I think she'd be good for it. I think so. But, so that is my cast for Company. Next, I'm going to do a two-parter. I'm going to do two different casts for Follies, another great Sondheim musical. Okay, so, toodles.